So Ronnie is back once again to help us improve our minds and our bodies for the segment Lift For It this evening. Welcome back, Ronnie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
How are you, Sean?
I'm doing pretty good. Every day is a great day, especially Fridays because it's the weekend.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, I love it.
So as we always do, we like to give our listeners some very important tips and tricks to improve their minds and bodies so we could be awesome like you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But this week around, what is it you would like to talk about?
Yeah, obviously, we talked about laziness last week.
I'm pretty lazy.
Me too, actually. We all are lazy in certain way. And we are talking about bad feelings.
Okay.
Right? A little bit. Hey, Sean, is it possible to free ourselves from all those destructive thoughts and negative feelings and actions? What do you think? And change bad habits for good?
It's absolutely possible. Yeah, so it was actually one of my sort of lines of study in university.
You mentioned
changing
before.
habits and actions, and
right.
Because people say, "Oh, you can never change. It's impossible."
You know what? Everything is going to change. Yeah,
absolute fact.
Yeah. So what this is all about is how we do that. And today we're gonna be talking about the brain versus the mind. Especially about, awareness and mindfulness.
Okay.
Yeah. How do we identify and work with negative brain impulses? One of the big advances that have been made in doing this is cognitive therapy. And cognitive therapy is based on, the recognition of cognitive distortions.
Cognitive distortions.
Yeah. So we call it very often deceptive brain messages. So deceptive brain messages are like any false or inaccurate thoughts or unhelpful or distracting impulse urge or desire that takes you away from your true goals or intentions.
Okay, so for example, the feeling of laziness.
Yeah, feeling of laziness.
If we, want to do something for ourselves or even just we have to do our chores.
Yeah.
But we get that feeling and we think, I'm just too tired to do it.
Right.
You're not really too tired.
Yeah. So we are, all sufferers. So first noble truth of Buddhism.
Yes, indeed.
We are all sufferers.
Existence is suffering.
Yep. But mindfulness and awareness, we can rewire and overcome those deceptive brain messages.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So let's just go over some of the basic cognitive distortions, these deceptive brain messages. Let's say everyone else at work seems to be doing fine. What's wrong with me? If my girlfriend or my boyfriend really loves me, sure, he'll call me this weekend. You know what? Even if they don't call you, they still love you, right? So it's not an issue of letting your expectation control yourself, control your emotion in that way. Right? These kinds of negative comparison or false expectation bring you self-shame and make you think less of yourself. They're cognitive distortions. They're the deceptive brain messages.
I see.
Right.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So these distortions, where do they come from?
There are many different reasons of why you might have these thoughts and urges. Some of those are pure animal instinct, which basically means some of part of your brain is involved with all of the drives, for survival. The things that they're for survival are really not our control when they pop up.
Absolutely. I guess this is where you're starting to compare the brain and the mind.
Right.
The mind would be these negative cognitive distortions.
Exactly.
Versus the brain's more instinctual nature.
Yeah. Now when you're talking about the negative distortions, you're talking about I feel stressed out, so I'm going to eat a piece of cake because cake makes me feel better.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but what you're really talking about it at this point is reward behavior. So you're teaching your brain to replace stress and anxiety or whatsoever with some sort of unhealthy behavior for you.
That's very interesting. I think Sigmund Freud would have a lot to say about this as well, actually.
Yeah.
Because he's got the same sort of idea that through years of sort of cultural assimilation, we're trying to destroy our basic instinctual nature as like base biological humans.
Right.
With all of these like cultural ideas and cognitive distortions, as you put it.
Yeah.
And it just makes us feel worse.
I know. And then there's another thing. You get the idea of unhelpful thinking or thoughts that can actually all the way go back to your childhood. How people treated you. Where you believe, did your brother and sister tell you negative things?
Did your parents?
Yeah, when you need their support when you're little? Yeah, stuff like that.
No, that's very true.
Yeah, that's very true.
And it builds up and it grows and it grows.
Grows and grows, yeah. Yeah, that might have, affected,
Yeah.
right? And I want to introduce the book titled You're Not Your Brain.
I'm not?
Basically, that's what it says.
Interesting.
Yeah. This is about four-step solution for changing their brain habits, changing their bad habits, ending unhealthy thinking, and taking control of your life.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, they're talking about some of basic knowledge of brain, obviously, and understanding brain areas and how they work.
Oh, okay.
One of what they are talking about the most of the time in this book is what's going on in the habit center, which is part of the brain that's involved in automatic spot and behaviors actions.
So if I feel like I'm thirsty, I immediately try to get something to drink.
That's what it is. Yeah. It basically says this is so important to us because most of us live our lives not really thinking and paying attention to what's going on outside.
Absolutely.
Right?
And this is a very interesting point because when you look at it, it goes well with overeating.
Right.
People who overeat, they don't realize that they don't need to eat. There's no element of survival.
Right.
We've already probably eaten enough to sustain us.
Right.
Especially if we're not exercising regularly or doing anything, that's taxing on our body.
Exactly.
So you say, oh, I feel hungry. I'm going to eat a cookie. And then, oh, I'm hungry again 20 minutes later. I'm going to have another snack. And then it's lunchtime. So I'm hungry again. I'm going to eat something.
Absolutely. What is the point, right?
Fact.
Yeah. So if we just follow our brain, like you mentioned, if you just follow what brain shows, we'll end up doing things pleasurable in the short term, like you just said, which don't have long-term consequences for us.
So then basically before the song break, it's telling us that we are not our brain in the sense that we think that our brain is telling us we're hungry, but in reality, it's just a cognitive distortion of the fact that we've trained ourselves to have that habit.
Right.
And this book is talking about a way to fix that habit then.
Yeah.
Interesting. Once again, what's the title of this book?
You're Not Your Brain.
Fascinating. Well, I'm really looking forward to the second half of this segment, but we do have to take a song break.
Yes.
So here we have a song by Journey to enjoy. This is Open Arms. Don't touch that dial. This is gonna get interesting.